Hello, and welcome back to the Common Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and I'm so excited today because I want to talk with you about some awesome open-ended toys. So I've talked about the importance of open-ended play, and I'll link to that episode of the Common Connected podcast in the show notes. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some specific toys that I think would be fantastic for encouraging open-ended play. Open-ended play is phenomenal because it encourages creativity, imagination, thinking outside of the box. And what you want are toys that can be used in multiple ways. You don't want one toy that has one specific feature and that's all that they do. So I always think about Alton Brown when I think about open-ended toys, and I'll make the connection for you because it's a little bit unusual. But here's what he says about kitchen items that you use. So he loves to cook. He has been on a bunch of shows on the Food Network, and he has a whole series that I absolutely love called Good Eats. And what he talks about is he wants to have items in a kitchen that are versatile. He doesn't want to get something that he can only use for one particular thing. He doesn't want just a coffee grinder. He wants to be able to use it to grind spices and to do other things with it. He likes having versatile sort of items in the kitchen so that you can use it in multiple ways. And I think about that in terms of toys. You want to have toys you can use in multiple ways as well. It leads to so much more creativity and imagination and better play opportunities for kids. A recent study from the University of Toledo in Ohio found that the fewer toys a child has, the more creative and imaginative their play is, and the longer that play lasts. So we want to encourage our kids to have fewer toys, but toys that can be played with in a lot of different ways. So I have 5 great toys that I like to think about that I think would be fantastic. And I've seen with my own children the beauty of how these toys can be used in so many different ways. So the first category is pretend food. You can do so much with pretend food. You can run a restaurant. You can play grocery store. You can play bakery. You can pretend that you're cooking dinner or run a coffee shop. You can play chef. And there's so many different ways that you can play with pretend food that I think it makes a lot of sense to have pretend food and honestly have a pretend kitchen if you can, or make one out of a cardboard box to really encourage those different ways of playing around with food and different places where kids can use food in a playful way. Going along with that one, I love having a cash register because a cash register is one of those things that can be used in a lot of different ways as well. You can use a cash register as part of playing restaurant or playing grocery store, but you can also use it to play car mechanic. You can use it to have an art show and charge people money, and then you pay the money as you go in. Anytime a child is bringing in money or giving out money, the play is enhanced when they have a cash register. And they have the cash registers where you can have the fake money, but they also have ones now where you can slide credit cards and you can work on coins and money knowledge. You can make your own coins and make your own dollars. You can have lots of fun with it. So absolutely get a cash register. It's a great investment because you can use it in so many different ways. A third toy that I love to use is a marble maze. Basically, a marble maze is this structure that you can create out of all these plastic little tubes and tunnels and roots that you can create. So kids can make a structure and then you send the marbles through it, and it's really cool because you can change it up in a lot of different ways. And there's a bunch of different kinds of marble works out there. So we actually have 2 in our house. We have 2 different brands of marble works, but my son uses both, so we keep both. And you can do lots of things in terms of building it up and changing it around, racing the marbles. There's so many fun things that you can do with just the marble mazes, and it can keep kids occupied and entertained for quite some time. Even listening to the sound of the marbles moving down can be soothing for some. And so you can try and make it bigger. You can try and separate the 2 tracks out. Lots of different ways to think creatively and think about how quickly are the marbles moving? Do I want the marbles to move faster or slower? And you can always add, so there's extra pieces that you can purchase at later times to even enhance the experience with the initial marble maze. So you can start with one and then build on that throughout different holidays and birthdays and that kind of thing. And I have to tell you, it was one of those toys that my children opened on one holiday and they just played with it for hours. It was phenomenal. Another category of toy I love are building toys. So the things that would fall into this category would be things like Kiva blocks or Legos or Duplos or Connectagons or Connects, things where you are actually building items. And I love the open-endedness of those sets because there is no right or wrong way to do things. Now, for Legos and Connects, they definitely have those sets where you can build and create something. There's nothing wrong with that. My son and I created a Ferris wheel one year out of there was a particular set that he got from Connects that was a Ferris wheel, and he really loved being able to put that together and use that. That was really cool. My daughter loves getting her little Lego sets every Christmas and building up the different things. You know, she's gotten Harry Potter stuff and Lego Friends stuff, and she loves that. But there is something much more open-ended about those sets that have no directions to them. So they have to create their own thing. There's a place for sets, and then there's a place for those open-ended pieces where you can just create something all your own. And then finally, this is a gift that doesn't really come in a store necessarily, but cardboard is phenomenal. Having tons of cardboard boxes. I don't know about you, but around this time of year when things are coming in from we're getting gifts, we love to use cardboard boxes in a lot of different ways. There's so many different ways that you can play with just a cardboard box. So think about all the different sizes of boxes. The boxes that shoes come in, that's a fantastic thing where you can create something that holds rocks or holds collections of things. That's a home for Shopkins or a slide for minifigures. Bigger boxes can be tables for restaurants, or it can be a kitchen, or it can be an art store. There's so many different things that you can create with cardboard, and giving kids that opportunity by saving some of the boxes and having them just use that along with the other open-ended toys that they have leads to so much creativity and fun. So I encourage you to definitely look at open-ended toys. I hope that these suggestions were helpful for you. I'd love to hear from you if you want to share in the comments or share just via email, calm@JanineHalloran.com, all about some open-ended toys that you love. I'd love to hear about that. I love learning about new toys and hearing about other people's experiences with different kinds of toys, so feel free to share with me. And one last thing, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.